Hey everybody, D Amazing here, bringing you another review. This time is of the SH Figuarts Chewbacca. So, let's get to it. Let me hit my lights on, get a little stronger going. There we go. First and foremost, I want to start by saying this is not the Black Series Chewbacca. This is the SHF, so it's bound to be smaller for obvious reasons. But yeah, actually, it looks pretty good to me. You can see that where the molding is done, where the articulation is going to be, and aesthetic-wise, that's the only thing that's actually like turning you off to the figure outside of the ball joints. Otherwise, you can tell it actually looks like, Chewbacca. Even in the face sculpt, which was digitally printed, you can see that it's clearly Chewbacca's face. This actually looks like real fur. That's how cool the head sculpt looks. So I'm really a big fan of that. I don't know why, but I can't get it on the eyes. Let me see if I can. Yep. But if you look over to the side, you can actually see that they even did the pupils, how he's a little cross-eyed with his nice blue eyes. So I thought that was pretty dope that they did that. Now, Chewbacca is actually a really simple figure, and I'm gonna get to his articulation and what's going on. So you can see the breaks in the mold at where they allow for articulation. So it's really cool because you actually have tons of articulation on what you would think is not a really articulated figure. It has bicep swivel. It's pretty much double jointed for what is, him, as you can hold it up. So it can rotate pretty well. As far as the legs, they go out pretty far and they go really far forward to the point where he can actually sit down. So if they ever do a Millennium Falcon, they'd actually be dope because you can actually get Chewie down on one knee. You can get Chewie to sit down. The toes have toe pivot, and there's tons of articulation for his feet. Not really an ankle pivot, but more like an ankle rotation, which is pretty dope. Now the satchel and this, you can't take it off. I'm gonna pop the head off for a second. This is actually glued at the top, so unless you want to rip it off and risk like ruining something, I'm pretty sure you can somehow heat and pop it off if you really wanted to take this off. The satchel is actually pretty movable though, so you can get tons of movement out of it without it hindering your articulation of what you want to do with the figure. And on the back of Chewie's head, they actually gave you a little bit of articulation for the hair so you can actually look up with him, which is really great. Now, outside of this one head, I thought it was a different head, but it's actually a faceplate that you remove to add Chewie's yelling head. Make sure it's in there. Yelling head is pretty dope. It actually looks exactly like him. It's actually done really, really well. So I'm going to pop this ball joint back in. You got to line it up right or, you won't get it. Actually, I'm going to take it off so I can do it. Because lining the ball joint sometimes is just a pain. You got to wait for it to hit a snap. So what's really dope about this actually is that as simple as Chewbacca is, it's actually just what you need. Sometimes you got to stick things to being simple. Chewbacca actually comes with an extra set of hands, and it's just open palms. Now you would think they would give him gun holding hands, and I'll get to that in a second. So you get a pair of hands with an open palm and one closed fist. So you make sure you have the opposite for one, for that. Now I'm gonna take out his right arm again. I'm gonna show you something, which is actually it makes sense why they did it in all retrospect. The hand for the blast is actually molded into the weapon, because for Chewie it's like why would you actually bother removing it? Now, if you want to take a chance, you can actually cut it right down at the finger piece because the hand is actually quite removable, as you can see. So you can remove it off the blaster. That's if you want to cut it down to open up the hand to do so. You actually plug it in on the peg. Oop, let me line it up correctly. And Chewie can carry his blaster. Now, what's really cool is that I really like this Chewie is that the Black Series one was really nice, but this one actually takes the cake in terms of posing and articulation. And that's something that I'm big on. So if you are a fan of stuff like that, it actually looks good. Now, I'm going to show him next to a Han Solo. But first, I'm going to do a real quick pose of Chewie running, just to make sure he's balance accurate. Because this is something I actually do a lot. Make sure he can balance. Now, this diorama is lopsided, so if I can get it to do it, it's even better. And yeah. Chewie can stand on one leg with one weapon in his arm, running pose. The thing that I like to do to make sure that they can do it. Because balance is important. You want to make sure a figure can do the things that they do. Chewie does a lot of running with Han, so pretty dope. I'm actually really like getting into the Chewie figure. At first I wasn't excited, but now the more I play with it, the more I'm like, I can do a bunch of cool stuff with this, Now, in terms of next to Han Solo, the SHF one, he's taller than Han, the way he should be. He looks down at Han. He's taller than Han. You know, it's pretty good. Now, next to a Black Series Leia, he's still towering over her. So, you know, and she's all the way in front. So you can see he's got major height on her. So in case you didn't know, Chewie is still tall, but in terms of next to a Black Series, he's not. But in terms of being next to other SHF, I'm pretty sure he's nailed that. Han is pretty short. Let's show him next to a Marvel Legend. He's still taller than Marvel Legend. So I don't see the big gripe in it. But if you are a height Nazi, you know, that's what's going to happen. I totally get it. But if you are a fan of the Star Wars stuff and you're already enjoying it, Chewie would be an excellent addition to your team because overall it's actually came out really, really well. So Chewie doesn't really age. So you won't need another Chewbacca unless you want a different set of weapons. So again, you can always cut the hand, like I said, add other weapons. He has one rifle hand. It'll be what it is. But overall, Chewie's a great step in a new direction, especially because it's a brand new mold. It's something different for once. It's not a Stormtrooper. It's not a Han Solo. So it's great to get Chewie in the collection. I think it's great. If you have the money to spend on it, you're a big Star Wars fan, I definitely think you should add this Chewie to the collection because it actually looks a ton better than the Black Series one. So in the meantime, guys, hope you're chilling. Hope you're drinking your water. Hope you're doing good deeds and being good out in the world. Have a good one, guys. Later.